So, I guess this works out for Grace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to find like a way for her to get in. She's just like, and new character. And everyone else has new characters.
You'll have to tell Grace this. Not like
no, she knows.
She's
she was saying this whole time. You guys died.
Lol.
Okay, so
She's in the same room. She's watching a movie.
yeah, so next week, Dusk, I barely knew you. Next week, me and Garth were talking about this last week after we finished session. It's so much complication. I really wish everyone was here for it right now. But between the people I could get available, I think you, Fred, and Grace by extension, and you, Kirsty, are probably the two people I would want to have most, because you guys are, just by time zone, you guys are hardest to communicate with. Just by time zone. No fault on you guys.
Yeah.
We live on alternate sides of the world. Yeah.
That is actually a point. It's just like we have 3 in like that European Scandinavian region. Then we have 3 in California, and then there's O.
Yeah.
He's just
Anyways.
there.
Mm.
Yeah, so like
Fair,
Northern Europe, Northwestern Europe, rather. What, Kirsty?
not just saying, I literally don't have a schedule right now anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. But
Yeah, I'm just saying it's easier to talk because I want you to like talk in the middle of your morning, middle of your night, and vice versa.
yeah.
Again, of the people I want to have in the call to discuss such, you two are probably the most important ones, and I guess by technicality, Grace. So basically, what me and Garth were talking about last week, because we were really wondering like how this campaign would go. A couple of months, more like 1 month,
More like a day.
You stupid fuck, dumb old crash. So we're talking. Okay, one of the options before was using this mini campaign as a main campaign. Yeah, that option's out now. That's yeah. I think I could tell you that for free.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Can you explain the situation to me? I feel like I'm missing some steps.
You guys are now servants of Gurnal, and he's like, friends! You're awake!
You know what?
Gaggle friend didn't kill you!
I'll take that. I'll consider that a personal
I
victory.
don't Gaggle friend not hurt you, but he hurt you anyways. To be fair, you hurt him pretty
yeah.
bad.
Just because I want to see you acting like that. That's the only reason.
No, I'm not.
I want to see this character.
Well, I'll recycle Gurnal and put him somewhere else. He honestly could be used anywhere.
Yeah.
Anyways, going back to it.
Could his armor just be strewn with different bits and pieces of our characters?
Yeah, just like from different ages.
Like a book from
There's like a really old elven one. Yeah. There's like the cowl of Dolly. You got your book, and he's like, I can't read it all, but it looks pretty. Anyways,
fantastic.
Yeah, so going back, real in serious. I leave the option to you guys as players where we want to go with the next campaign. Note that I say campaign, not mini campaign. I myself want to go back to the colonial thing, but that's just me. I just simply think there's a lot of potential for it. But before I even get to that discussion, it's up to you guys which time period we want the next campaign to be. And the flip side of this is, I know you're thinking, why don't we just go back to the main colonial campaign, Crash? We could do that. That is a thing. The reason I was talking with Garth about this, I was thinking about rehashing that campaign. So I don't know what we'll do with it, whether it reset the entire second wave bit. So it's like, hey, I heard you just got off the ship. Welcome to town. You know, like Charlotte greeting you on day 1 again. We can continue with it, with Catalina leading you guys through the Feywilds, and you guys pick up some friends in the Feywilds in the form of whatever O and Grace wants to play. Or the middle bit of rehashing is we go to some events, but not others, and stuff like that. So that's the colonial potentiality. So those are like the 3 options. Restart entirely, rehash some of it and keep some of it, and some character developments, or just keep going. The keep going bit, I think, feels a bit weird, considering, but that's, I leave it up to you guys. And the other option is we go to something else entirely. I don't know what. We can continue in this day and age of conquest and stuff like that. I would say, though...
Can we be in a different plane of existence for most of it?
No.
Oh.
I would say the catch to this time setting, though, I know you guys like really had fun with the conquest and stuff like that. You know, you feel badass and stuff like that. But I would say the catch of this is you guys had made these decisions knowing it's a mini campaign and knowing that you won't have to do too much character development. I would say as a setting, because of how tyrannical this time period is, it's a bit hard to do character development because you just sort of lose freedom as characters and as players. But that's just me. Maybe
There's also the factor of this is in the past, so there are certain limitations of what we can do.
Thank you for reminding me of that, Garth. There's also the bit of the reason I vote for any non-historical campaign is because I don't like treading on my own fucking toes. And in the past, I can only allow you guys to do so much without changing the stuff I already have.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, certain factions which should exist will always exist no matter what you guys do. I don't think you guys are asshole players enough. Thank the gods for my blessings that you guys would purposely do that, especially if I told you otherwise or asked you to do otherwise. But the catch is, I don't even want to get to that point. You guys wouldn't be able to fucking find Connor.
Murder his ancestors. Yeah. Anyways.
You mean his mom hasn't been born yet, funnily enough, because she's of the Heartlands, and Heartlands are just freshly developed. Yeah, the Cassiver bit, yeah, fucking good luck. A lot of people tried.
A lot of people tried. But
they really have. But yeah, that's sort of the bit of why I'm against historical campaigns, just because like there's just so much less freedom I want. Don't tell me wrong. I'm not like fucking writing in the back of my book, don't give them options. But I subconsciously just don't want to tread on my own toes. I've encountered this feeling back when I ran from my IRL group, their first campaign, which we did end up rehashing because we got 2 new people and just a lot of shit happened. But it was basically like the first iteration of their campaign was after you weren't there for it, Kirsty, unfortunately. I would have loved to have you at the time. But yeah, the old provincial campaign, it happened after that. And then I'm like, this doesn't feel right. It just feels like I'm like stepping on my own toes. I'm having to like look up 4 different sources just to look for one specific person. Like, I gotta look. Yeah, I'd much rather just wipe the slate, which is what I end up doing for them. And what I'd rather do for you guys, just because it makes it a bit more easier.
That's the option I'm most in favor of, personally.
Provincial or colonial or
colonial?
Okay, so like a fresh start on colonial.
Yeah.
Now the
like a full a full wipe, or do you want to keep some of the events prior?
That can be discussed.
That's exactly okay.
Yeah.
Let me put this in perspective. When I was talking with my group about rehashing their first iteration and then getting to the second one, it took us an hour just to cover the Inkling details. So I'm sorry to tell you two right here, Garth, I don't mind because you're on my time zone and we're not doing anything else. You guys might have to stick here for a bit. Yeah, you guys might have to stick here for a bit. Yeah, I leave that up to you guys because I think. Well, I should ask if we went back to the colonial game, Garth. I think your vote is keeping Sandra. Maybe as a character, not necessarily as Baxter, but as a character.
Maybe I lean towards that, but also like at the same time, like I could change. It entirely depends on like everyone. If everyone else changes out characters, then I might change out too. Just
okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not 100% set in stone. I do like where she's going because I kind of have ideas of how to progress her, but also like if we're going back anyways, and it's like, well, now I have to do all the shit to get her to the character.
I'll tell you this for free: you guys are probably keeping Varric, and I have no fucking clue for Abigail. But yeah, they're probably keeping Varric.
Hey, we can figure out the healing multi-class.
Maybe I could rehash him, and then he'll actually be happy and talk a lot. Wouldn't that be?
That would be.
Really that's a good joke.
That would be
a joke.
Haha, thank you. But yeah, well,
you should do stand-up.
Thank you. I'll do that on my end after I heal back from you guys. But getting back to it, it's up to so Garth, you're basically sort of 50-50. Would that be a fair percentage?
50-50 would be fair, yeah.
Okay. For you, Kirsty, and for you, Fred, would you guys want to keep your old character, or would you do something new? Would you want to keep? Feel free to change Wise's name if you're going to keep him. Feel free to change.
No. That one,
you know,
veto. You have to keep that.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep Wise just for the joke. No.
It's up to you. Me. Who was in the? It was me, you, Garth, and I want to say O.
Probably O.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about like transmutation wizard. It fits for your background and backstory.
Yeah, that was you.
But as in play thing, like the stone and stuff like that, I'm like, you probably would have been better fit for like an evocation wizard or something like that.
It was, yeah, because that's the thing. Because she was like Yeah, it's like because she's like my first character, so I was just like, yeah,
Yeah,
that
which
sounds
is
cool.
fine.
That
Like-
sounds cool.
Like me,
So-
Garth, and Fred are of the agreement that you and Rebecca, as your first time characters, went for one of the hardest tasks of D&D and went wizard.
You
Yeah,
actually
you
did
did quite
pretty
well.
solid comparatively, yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
Yeah, you
I'm
both
not gonna lie,
you did
yeah.
really well.
I mean, I love Wizard. I love it so much. But yeah, no, I should have gone like evocation or something instead of transmutation.
Yeah.
But,
Well,
um,
other bit is if we redo the campaign, you guys are gonna reset in levels.
But
So we'll be going. You guys just hit 10th. We're going back. I don't know.
We
It's
didn't even
rare.
hit 10th. We just kind of like, oh, here's the idea of being 10th.
You
Goodbye.
licked the popsicle, and someone just came up and knocked it out of your hand.
Niet.
Yes, like a blitz.
Yeah.
I've been watching too much fucking Russian
Yeah.
YouTubers.
Yeah. Anyways, bring it
I
back.
know. I think I'd like to try another.
Did you think you would go for a new character?
Yeah, I think I would. Yeah.
You gotta go
Okay,
with
that's
the
fine.
Smashy
Like
board.
another.
Don't say smash. Don't say smash.
Look, this entire
See,
mini campaign is
Wait,
just dick
that's what this mini campaign was. It's us learning that when we do dumb sex jokes and stuff like that, we die faster.
You get smashed in a bad
And then
way.
look at the colonial game. Varric is like, you know, he tries to
Absence till
moderate
he
you
dies.
guys.
No, wait, no, he doesn't.
No, fun enough, he gets laid more than all of you.
He
But
does.
he doesn't talk. This is in Band of Brothers, advocate the show. One of the main characters, his name is Captain Winters. All the others troops, they talk about, yeah, this is my girlfriend, this is my wife. They drink when they're on, raiding towns and stuff like that, because that's what happened during World War II. Winters doesn't do anything. He doesn't drink. He doesn't like brag about any significant others. He's basically like he's Queen. He's fully Queen to the point where his whole company knows about it. He never gets injured. The most he does is he takes a ricochet in the lower leg. That's it. He never gets hurt. Everyone else, according to the story, it's an easy company tradition. That's what their company were. Easy company tradition to get pegged in the ass by a bullet or by shrapnel or something.
Was the ricochet like? Did it go through his leg or did it just skim on his leg?
No, it just went into the bullet. Just went into his leg, and then they pulled it out. And then it's like the doc is like, "Yeah, you got to be able to stay off your leg for this, Cap." No, we gotta be moving out soon. All right, well then try your best to, I don't know, lean on the other leg or something.
World War II medicine. It's like,
Well, it's because they couldn't do anything. It's because they couldn't do anything else. Like they could give him some anesthetic, but like it's a bit of a waste for just for
yeah,
ricochet.
that's a temporary fix if anything.
Yeah, they just bandaged him up, and he's capping.
Slap on the butt on the way out. Let's go.
Yeah, basically.
Anyways, we're
But,
getting distracted again.
Yeah, tangent. Too much caffeine, even without the monsters. But yeah, it's so from the sounds of it, Kirsty, you're thinking of doing a new character. I'm not gonna say put in your votes right now. Again, this works out really well for Grace and all that. If we all make characters together next week, which is probably what we're doing. What about you, Fred? Would you want to keep Ward? Do you want to revive Tanum? Do you want to do something else? What are you feeling? Because I think a mini campaign was pretty educative for you, because you went in here like, okay, I have something in mind, something a bit more my speed, but not something I've experimented with fully.
Yeah.
Again, you don't have to like give me like the class or what the character is and stuff like that. But I'm just wondering, do you think you're going to stay with the old or come in with the new?
I might stick mechanically with Ward, but I might do some
Like a new character
rechassing.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Would he still be Ward?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about.
You don't have to give me an answer now, but just think on it.
I think I might switch around some of the stuff. Flesh him out a little bit more.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Give him more of a personality. That part I was planning on changing either way.
Don't I know the pain of Varric and Abigail?
Yeah. Depending on where we start, I might just stick with Stone Sorcerer. See, that's the thing.
I would say I'll ask you guys. Basically, the options of how far back do we go are the ranges of 3 to 6. We'll skip past 4, so because 4 is just ASI anyways. So 3, 5, or 6. Because we started the Colonial campaign at technically 2 for one session, and then you guys immediately got 3.
Basically 3.
Yeah.
Yes, basically 3. We could go if we want to stay with the leveling progression of that, then we would just go back to that. But the catch is, of course, like we don't have to. Oh shit!
What's Grace's experience with dungeon? She played like old school D&D, didn't she?
Yeah, she wanted,
was
the reason
harder
she wanted
than-
to wait is
Yeah.
she wanted to reacquaint herself with the system and the rules and all that stuff.
So there's not as much of a concern when we were getting Rebecca and Kirsty jumping in, of like a person that has no idea what they're doing, so we could actually.
Yeah.
Kirsty, you played D&D before this, didn't you? Didn't you say like you
I
were like?
literally, yeah, I've got like a sort of casual thing I do with a couple of friends, but I'd literally only been playing it like a month before we started.
Okay.
So
Extremely
Because
limited
yeah.
experience.
probably equivalent levels, we'll say equivalent levels.
It's been many years since Grace played, so she wanted to
Yeah. Well, the catch.
herself
The
with
thing is,
this edition.
the earlier editions are harder to figure out than the newer ones. So yeah, it's like taking the train way tough.
If we make an analogy in terms of what kind of player I think she is,
Yeah, careful, she's in the room with you. Careful. Blink twice if you're
I
in
know.
trouble.
We can't see a blink.
nah. I think she is
You can. I can. I can see through the even though
yes, I
internet.
see.
I'm a AI. Remember? Come on.
We forget.
the other player who is most like her in terms of what she would like in terms of character builds and playstyle. I think she is the
Okay.
most similar to Orion out of all. those.
No, I don't need another. Oh no,
That tracks. That tracks with the bits and pieces you said about her.
no.
I think we've just broke Crash.
Yes, we have 2 overpowered gamers now.
It's like my kryptonite. No.
But yeah.
Again, if I ever want to win, I can win. If today is no evidence, I can even win unintentionally.
Was there ever a point where it's just like, oh shit, they might actually die here?
No, yeah, I got to that point around the time where Genevieve got swallowed as well.
That's exactly when I thought that too.
Yeah, I was like, 2
I was
of
just
you
like, at that point,
swallowed.
it's like,
You know how hard it would have been to regurgitate that shit? It would have been so hard. It would have been a
they just didn't have the
DC
damage
21.
output.
It would have been a DC 21 con save. It has a plus 13 to con saves.
What the fuck?
It's the
Yeah,
only
no.
saving throw proficiency it had.
So when they're in there, they're in there.
Yeah. And I know O was like 30 is god level strength. To me, it's not. If you guys face a god, there is no stat. I just kill you.
Exactly. It's just like that.
Yeah, like
If you give a
If
god
I
a
wanted
stat
to
block,
put
you're just giving
demigod-
players a goal to kill.
if I were to give like demigod stuff, look at the fucking man-eater moth. That fucker butchered you guys in like 4 rounds.
Oh yeah.
That to me is demigod fight. Like if you want to fight a demigod, you better be fucking ready to lose.
So what you're
because,
saying, there isn't a fight with a god. There isn't one.
yeah, that's essentially it. That's my view on it. Like you shouldn't be able to fairly fight a god. They're a god. They've existed on this earth for like thousands of your generations. They're not weak or dumb or pathetic unless that's their portfolio. You shouldn't be fighting a god. So yeah, 30 strength. Don't get me wrong, the Gaggler's not, the Gaggler's meant to be super powerful. It's fucking weird. This is like, I said the twins is violent before colonists got to it. You think the Seekers and Slayers like are a bunch of pushovers? No, they fucking put in the work to clean this place up. And one of the things they exterminated was the Gaggler, and it's like kind. Because yeah, you don't want an infesting bird monstrosity thing going around the place.
Because it finds like one town. Fuck.
And it suddenly has like 30 Ken. Yeah, it's not good. So yeah, like the twins is harsh. That's why you guys need these towns. You know who wouldn't have a hard time with a Gaggler? The Hunter Sculptors. They could petrify it, smash it like a fucking like birthday cake. They don't care. The fucking snake assassin guys of Altslit, they would just fucking find it when it's asleep and begin like poisoning it. Easy.
Why
not
didn't
that-
they?
Because they don't know it's here. Because they don't care. They have other things concerned, like what's polluting the water, stuff like
There's a
that.
snake
Like
in the watering hole.
exactly.
is.
So like, this is what the whole diplomacy bit was. You need twins people to face the twins because they live with it on a daily basis. They know how to survive it. They know the underhanded, brutal techniques to help cull it and fix it. That's why you guys are doing diplomacy. At least the catch is they would do it long enough for the Seekers and Slayers to do their job of extermination. Once the Seekers and Slayers are done with that, you guys don't need the town anymore. But hopefully the town is still, peaceable enough to keep its citizens anyways.
Yeah. Level 3, now that I think a bit more about it, could be interesting.
It definitely puts you guys on the more accidentally lethal side of things, as evidence in the first session we ever had in the Colonial game, where some of you got pretty low.
Yeah, I think it would be good if we're trying a bunch of new stuff. It gives us time to reacquaint ourselves with all of the mechanic, because if that's the one takeaway from this that I had, it is a lot to keep track. Yeah, it's a lot to keep track of when you jump.
Oh
into
yeah,
it.
certainly.
You jump to
Certainly.
like 8. 6,
Yeah, 8. Yeah.
6 is debatable. I would say like latest would probably be 5. In my opinion.
That's fair. That's fair. And yeah, like again, as I was telling, because 5
is a pretty tame level, but it is a power spike for pretty much everyone.
It's a power spike. It's a more trouble for spellcasters because more spells. But for fighter martial classes, it's pretty straightforward. You can now attack twice.
But if you multi-class, then it's irrelevant anyways.
Exactly.
But
what
were we saying?
Yeah, we were talking about this. I know Garth, you were talking with me about. I think Fred, you were there when I think this was when we were building the Tandoran. But D&D is a layer-based system. It's so much easier to do character creation when it's just you pretend as if you're making a first level character and then add on to it.
Yeah.
So don't be jumping to 7th and then 15th and stuff like that. So similar to that, like the less layers you guys have to build upon, the easier you guys figure out your character, the faster it will be if you guys are low level. Obviously, lower level, we're a bit more weaker, but that's part of the game. Is one of the largest features of the game is leveling up. It's sort of the whole bit of progression with it. But of course, I live up to you guys. Like I trust you guys to be able to decide how much to chew off, and that you will chew off an amount that you can handle.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So go on.
No, I think I'd rather sort of start at a lower level. I think just because it's easier. But
that's up to you guys.
Yeah.
Again, as Fred did wisely point out, like this is a good like educational lesson of we'll let that joke die in the past. Anyways, as Fred pointed out, like this mini campaign was a lesson of like making characters quickly as well as ones with higher level. It's not so simple a task.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I could do it easily because I'm a GM. O can do it because he's a fucking nerd. But yeah, like me and O could probably build characters. We could build a character while our current character is dying, and then have the new character done by our old character's dead. We could do it that quickly, probably.
I can do
if we
that
put
with simpler characters. Like if you throw fucking spellless at me, I'm fucked.
Yeah, I could do it not competently for spellcasters. I'd just grab all the damaging spells and stuff like that.
Well, Fireball,
yeah, and that's assuming that's assuming no backstories. Backstories are probably one of the biggest time takers. I noticed you, Kirsty, you put a good bit for Dolly. Like you give me quite, and don't be worried about the length. I've seen far longer. I've seen far more semantic and tedious.
This is girthier.
To be fair, I was just really, really bored.
Hey.
I just thought
that's the beauty of D&D. That's the beauty of D&D.
I just thought I might as well just go to town with it.
And hey, if you do that for the next character, boom, so much more to live for. As long as we don't die again.
You'll just find out it's yes, hello, I am Daddy's triplet. Come back.
Not the psycho murderer. Or the one that got
here's the bit. You guys have like a less of a chance of dying in a normal campaign because in a mini campaign, I'm like in every campaign, especially after every level up, I have to recalibrate and tweak my combat encounter algorithm, so to speak. In a mini campaign, I sort of care less for the calibration and such, mostly because I have less chance to do so. Secondly, because I'm not as invested in the long terms of these characters because it's a mini campaign. The other bit is that I don't pay as much attention to balancing for your guys' success and fair survival. In the sense of like, it's a hard fight, but we want it. And to be fair, today, you guys are pretty close. With the exception of the 100 health orange guy, like, most of them, like, it was like one of the gags was 1 HP, one of them was like 30 something, and the gag that had 8 HP at the end.
8? Fucking goddammit.
He had 8. Yeah, I wrote it there. He had 8.
I had Hunter's Mark, and I was debating, do I want to use this? No, I want to keep Bless up for everyone. If I didn't, might have actually been able to kill the fucking thing.
Maybe.
But then the things would have probably been addressed anyways.
hindsight
Our
is 2020.
failure is your fault, Garth. Hope you're aware of that.
Look, I already have
Yeah.
one TPK on my shoulders. I'll just take a second one.
If it makes you feel any better,
fuck,
Garth,
no, I had a character die then.
if it
Sorry,
makes you feel any better, Garth, the gag wouldn't have stopped at the Gaggler's death. Like,
Oh,
they would have
great.
killed you guys, infested you, and one of them would have been selected to become the next Gaggler. That's it.
Oh god.
Yeah, so that's just how it is. Like, that's all. But yeah, so but yeah, as I was saying, in a mini campaign, I don't pay as much attention to that. I don't dedicate as much time and focus to that because it's a mini campaign. So basically, I might have encounters that are too hard, and be like, yeah, it's good enough. Versus in a normal campaign, I would probably go under as opposed to over. I'm like, oh, that's a bit under empowered. No, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. As opposed to be like, no, we should buff it a bit more, make it a bit more powerful. Now I'd be like, no, lower is on the safer side, so that's fine. Because again, I want a long-term calibration as opposed to like a short-term potentially definitely destruction thing like today. So yeah, and then since you guys would live through more encounters, I could refine my calibration, and thus you guys have a more balanced encounter going forward and stuff like that. So long as obviously the forces that be aren't trying to fuck with you, like the fairy book stuff, which is pretty funny by the way. Oh well, but yeah. So from the sounds of the votes, it sounds. I'll ask you, Garth, when these two are gone. I want to get through them first. Before they're more later. Kirsty, it sounds like you want a new character, and you are willing to go to the Colonial campaign.
Yeah.
Okay. Fred, you want a fresh start,
Yeah.
and you wouldn't mind going to the Colonial campaign, and
Yeah.
your character is to be seen, to be decided.
It's gonna be
To be continued.
It's gonna be some combination of well, you know what kind of character I play. It's gonna be a sorcerer melee combo of some kind.
Okay.
It might be sorcerer paladin. It might be sorcerer warlock. It might be sorcerer cleric. I'm not fully.
Go with
Yeah.
Sorcerer Bard of
Sorcerer
Swords.
somewhere.
See what happens there.
I really want to
No,
like
don't
Bark
like
Swords, but it feels so limiting because it takes a Bark inspiration every time to use a maneuver. Right?
Later on, you get the ability to use like just a D6 constantly.
Yeah,
but at the
but,
same
like,
time, the trade-off there.
Later. That's so much
Yeah.
later. Yeah, I want to like Bard of Swords, really I do, but the catch is it's Bard, and like the sword resource is the same thing you use as a Bard in general.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so yeah. But anyways, I would say as just for all of you here, I'll hit up O and Rebecca and see if they can hop into the call. Actually, come. No, I'll do it right now. At dusk. Do you guys think you'd be able hop into the call later? Or Garth, you gonna stick around and hang out with me as we know where to do, or are you gonna differ?
I have to. I'm helping my sister move tomorrow, so I have to leave at some point tonight, but that can be delayed. So I can stay around for a few hours at the very worst, or at the very least.
A few hours?
Yeah.
Or you think you'd be? Okay, I should probably ask this. Do you? But not to you, to them. Do you
Gotcha.
guys think you'd free
Sup.
later